find them to be a technological throwback in many ways that your generation doesn't understand. To me, to reach into my pocket to tell time that's 1910. That's pocket watch. Yeah. You know, watch is this. To reach into my pocket to tell what time it is, that is not a technological advancement. That's a retrograde.
Even, everyone knows if you're walking down the path and you see someone you don't want to see, just like awkwardly check your cell phone or pretend like you're talking to someone. Everyone's done it. But it definitely loses interaction, whether it's comfortable or uncomfortable.
I was either handed the phone off to my mom immediately when I got the phone call, because I'd be like, if someone would call and be like, "Can I talk to this person?" I'd be, "Yep," and just hand the phone right away, because phones and I just never really get along talking-wise.
It's almost, for me, harder to meet new people. If I'm in an interview situation or with someone that I know or have to work with, then I think I can handle it. But meeting new people, I think it's kind of different, because it's easier to just Facebook friend request someone than it is to go up to them and talk to them.
And I find that the young adults I know whose parents put limits on their use of technology, encouraged, if not demanded, that they learn how to interact as human beings with other human beings face to face. Those are the kids that I'm seeing who are doing very well now.
I forgot who said it, but I heard somewhere along the way somebody said if the telephone was invented after the text message was a possibility, people would be amazed that they could actually hear someone's voice on a device as opposed to just reading what they wrote. It's the other way around, so yeah, it's possible we're going back in time a little bit.
Yeah, to certain extents, I would say. Just certain, social interactions that you miss out on simply through texting a friend instead of telling them in person.
Because it used to be the only way that you really could communicate was to talk to someone, and they say face-to-face and verbal communication is better. But now I feel we're transitioning a lot to more reading what each other has to say, which I think it kind of causes some problems sometimes, because you can't really get the emotion in a text message that you can in a phone call.
A lot of people feel more comfortable texting now, which is interesting.
You have to think about it, though, because your words still carry meaning.
Right.
I think oftentimes we just send garbage, and then we get garbage, and then we wonder why, it's not working. I think you still have to be mindful.
People, and I've noticed this with my students, a lot of even a paper that they've written for class is now less formal. It's written in shorthand. Instead of because, it's B/C. These types of things are not healthy, because it's really a problem, because it helps to break down the communication instead of enhancing it.
Even when I'm texting, I spell out everything, because I don't like to have to decode text messages, and I have some people that will text me and they can't spell out the whole word "you," and it's it's only 2 extra letters. Come on, put in some effort. And I feel I have to decode it, and I just don't even want to read it.
What I'm getting at is I remember just doodling and writing things in a notebook all the time during school and college. And I went to college, in my 30s and 40s for grad school. Still always doing that. Mm-hmm. So there's really not that much difference between that and whatever, just doodling, really.
It's different. Doodling is off in your own mind. Cell phone, texting, you're having another exchange, you're having another relationship, and you're not having a learning relationship.
Yeah, maybe they think it's okay, or I'd be cool with that, to use their language. But there's a certain point in time that when you're in front of the classroom, you're the authority figure, and you need to command respect, and you need to make sure that they understand that you're trying to teach them important concepts. And that's where it gets in the way. Before or after class, I don't care. Use it as much as you want. Yeah. It's just that, we're trying to have a discussion and a dialogue. I need both sides to be actively engaged. I need to be engaged, and I need them to participate as well.
No, I don't. Usually I'm texting people in my class.
Guilty, yes. Not too often, though.
Usually I check the time. I'm not good at being sneaky and texting.
I try not to, but I think sometimes I do, especially if I'm bored or I need to check the time. Even though I wear a watch, I still have to check the time on my cell phone.
But when I'm in a smaller classroom and I see somebody texting, I will generally say, "Are you taking notes?" And then they get red in the face and they stop.
I usually don't start. Usually, if something comes to me and it's regarding, 9 times out of 10, it's regarding something TV related. So then
I send text messages and respond to ones that are sent to me first. I'm the starter and the responder.
It doesn't bother me, but it does distract me from like what the teacher's saying and everything, because I'm looking to see, oh, well, so that person's doing something weird, you know, oh, what's going on? But then, I mean,
It's distracting for the teacher who's like giving the lecture, but for me, I just laugh and it's kind of like, oh, hey, look at the guy who forgot to turn off his cell phone.
if it's really bright, and some people leave the volume on, like on a little low, and you can hear it, it doesn't peeve me that much because I can't be a hypocrite because I do it sometimes too.
If a cell phone rings in class, it's distracting. But a vibrate, like if I don't hear it, obviously I don't know. If someone's like texting next to me, I don't really mind it. But if a continuous ring or something annoying goes off in class, then yeah, that's distracting.
And I always say to my students, if you need to make a phone call or you're waiting on an important call, something like that, and it's during class, go outside, handle your business, and then come back in and be active and be engaged in my class.
I poll my students about this because I teach media, and I got an interesting response that I hadn't considered. They said that they thought texting was more polite in one way, and that if people are in public and talking on their cell phones, it's rude.
I would say talking on the phone. I mean, it's one thing to do it in a private space, but when you're in public, it's not that it's a bad thing, but it's louder and it disrupts more people. And then you also get the interesting, I only hear one side of the conversation, so I have no idea what the conversation's about. That's always fun.
I think the texting is, because, I mean, even when, like, I have to send a quick text when I'm walking, like, I feel like a jerk because I'm looking at my phone. I'm not looking at where I'm going. And there are times where I have bumped into people have bumped into me while they're texting.
I think it's incredibly rude that if you're listening to someone, whether it's in class or even during a regular conversation, for you to be also texting or sending an email on a BlackBerry or talking on the phone while you're doing that. So yes, I find it rude and I find it annoying.
Probably because when you're talking on the phone, you really are interrupting the person who's trying to speak to you. Whereas with texting, you could, like, with one hand just text while talking to the other person. And you could do it relatively unobtrusively, too.
While you're on the phone, you can see what you're doing. You're walking around. Back when cell phones came out, and when I was in love with cell phones and they were these big blocks, you could still walk and talk and do whatever. Of course, if you're being loud, then that's another story. But I think texting while moving is a little bit more unacceptable than just plain talking on your phone.
And it is annoying, you know, to see somebody, oh yeah, that's right. Oh, I'm going to be there in a little bit, you know. And we tend to project our voices more, you know, because we're talking into a tin can.
It's different than it wouldn't be one thing to be calling and talking to someone loudly, but texting, they can put the phone back in the pocket and go back to work after they've finished their text.
I would still not recommend it because my personal feeling is I like to focus on one conversation at a time. I don't like multitasking if it can be avoided.